Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. I am your host, Anthony Florio. I am joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock here tonight. A lot going on. We're keeping an eye on Game 6 of the ALCS. 3-2 Houston as it goes to the bottom of the sixth inning. And who knows, if all goes well, maybe we could have a screaming Michael Fletcher moment here tonight, if he knows what I mean. If this holds up, we could have a pennant moment here for MF. I mean, that would be awesome, but only time will tell. But for right now, 3-2 Houston, bottom of the sixth. If anything happens significantly, I know MF and Bullock will update because I got to keep an eye on all my screens and notes. So yes, week 7 rather of the NFL season. We apologize for not having a show last week. Michael Bullock was out late, and MF was not feeling well, so we had to cancel the show last week. But we're here and we're ready to go. 4 teams on bye this week: the Carolina Panthers, the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One quick news story: as you saw Thursday night, the Kansas City Chiefs easy win over the Denver Broncos, 30-6. That's the good news. The bad news is they lost their franchise quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. He suffered a gruesome injury. An injury that I thought was gonna put him away for the rest of the season. I thought he was done for the rest of the year, but praise the Lord that did not happen. He is gonna miss time, but not as much as we thought, or I thought. He's only gonna be out for 3 weeks, so that's very encouraging if you're a Chiefs fan. That's all I can say on that. So thank goodness all is well with him. Hopefully within the next few weeks. He'll be back. He'll be ready to go, and he'll be that MVP that he was a year ago. All right. So let's get into week 7 now, and we're going to start it off with the Los Angeles Rams, your NFC champion LA Rams, squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. This game will be over on Fox. And just give me a moment here as I load everything. At least the history notes here. Okay. And let's get into who will be on the call for this one for Fox. And working that one, it will be Sam Rosen, Mr. Sam Rosen, the legendary voice of the New York Rangers over on the MSG network. He's going to be joined by Kevin Burkhardt's crew of Charles Davis and Pam Oliver. He's sitting in for Kevin Burkhardt while Kevin Burkhardt fulfills his Major League Baseball playoff commitments as the host of the studio show with, Alex Rodriguez, David Ortiz, and Frank Thomas. Love that panel. They do an amazing job every time. Rams opening up as 3-point favorites. And the series history, that favors the LA Rams as well. 47-28 with 2 ties. Remember, these teams used to be division rivals back in the day, but not anymore. Last time they met was the NFC wildcard game in January of 2018 in LA, and the Falcons won 26-13. They met in LA in 2016. Atlanta also won that 42-14. Last meeting in Atlanta was 2013. Atlanta also won 31-24. Falcons have actually won the last 5 meetings in a row, including that playoff game. Rams haven't beaten the Falcons since 2007, but that was in St. Louis. They haven't won in Atlanta since, 2001. 2001, greatest show on turf. You know that team. So really nothing more to say on that. So let's get into the schematics for the Rams and the Falcons. You know what we got to watch for in this one. Well, for anybody who's new to our show, we have what to watch for. We have a bold prediction. We have a stat to know. We also have fantasy impact, and we also have a betting nugget for you gamblers out there, and then our overall thought and all that. So, turnabout is fair play here. MF learned about it the hard way last night. The slow situation here. Unfortunately, I'm caught in it now myself. So bear with me here. So, okay, I think I've got it here. Hold on. Yeah, I do apologize. It's very, very slow, very frustrating if I do say so myself. So, yep. So here we go for the Rams and the Falcons. Man, this thing keeps overlapping and everything else. Okay, I think we're finally gonna have it here now. Live television, folks. That's all there is to say on that. Live television. So, all right, I think we're gonna finally get it here. Okay, what to watch for? Since the defense still hasn't figured out how to stop opponents on a consistent basis, the Falcons have to rely on their high-powered offense, which has surpassed 30 points the past 2 games, even in defeat. A possible Julio Jones, Jalen Ramsey matchup could be fun, but the Falcons should be able to score regardless. Bold prediction: Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Mohamed Sanu will all have big days for the Falcons. The Rams receive a boost with the acquisition of Jalen Ramsey, though it's uncertain how much he will play. But even a trio of Atlanta receivers stacking yards won't be quite enough to defeat the defending NFC champions. Stat to know: the Rams' Cooper Kupp has 100 receiving yards in 4 games this season. Since 2006, only one Ram receiver has had 500-yard receiving games in a season, and that was Brandon Cooks, who had 5 last season. What to know for fantasy: Atlanta's Matt Ryan is the only quarterback this season with 4 games of 300 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. Good news for you, MF. I know you have him on your fantasy team. Betting nugget: over the past 2 seasons, Atlanta is 6-16 against the spread, the worst record in the NFL. It has failed to cover in 4 straight games and is 1-5 against the spread this season, tied with the Washington Redskins for the worst in the NFL. Atlanta is a slight FPI favorite, only 50.4%. It's that close. But I'm going with the LA Rams to win this one. I'm going to say 28-24. The Rams narrowly get by the Falcons. So there's really nothing more to say. We had lost MF, but we got him back in. So MF, I'll give it to you here. 28-24, my final for the Rams. I mean, Rams started 3-0, and now they've lost 3 in a row. And I got to ask the age-old question we've always asked on our shows, especially you and me. Panic button time in LA?
It's definitely panic button time, but there's another team that's also slamming the panic button right now, and that's Atlanta. Atlanta has been struggling, man. I mean, they've been horrible. A lot of people have been wondering what the heck is going on. But at the end of the day, I gotta go with the Rams as well. You know, I kind of feel like they definitely have a chance at this. But they just gotta turn it around. I don't know if it's because of the fact that they're not using Todd Gurley as much as they're supposed to. Or maybe it's because they might have figured out the offense. You know, going after Jared Goff, making them very uncomfortable. That's a thing that you kind of wanted to see. And if you're Atlanta, you're not getting killed by Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's putting numbers up. In the last 4 games alone, he's put up near 400 yards. Each game, he's over 300 with 2 or 3 touchdowns in the game. So it's definitely not an offensive problem. It's a defensive problem with Atlanta. Atlanta just can't stop anybody. They can't get no pressure to the quarterback. Whatever the case may be, with Atlanta, that's what they're going to need to do. If they can get the pressure, if they could shut it down, they're going to win. But I just don't see it. I think LA is going to rebound. I got the Rams winning very close, 28-24. Michael Bullock, I give it to you, my friend.
Yeah, like you said, the LA Rams were off to such a good start, and then for some reason they lost 3 in a row, and and I think this is the game where I think they'll bounce back. I mean, Atlanta, what the heck has been going on with them? I mean, like you said, offensively, it hasn't been a problem, but defensively too. And the thing is, they've been losing some key players on defense because of injury. So they've had to rely on some other guys to try to step up, and they just haven't done their job. And And you know what, guys? I mean, some people are. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons really haven't been the same since the. And I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me on this. They haven't been the same since they blew that 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Absolutely.
I mean, it seems like it's taken effect on them. I mean, we thought that this team would get better. I mean, they did make the playoffs the following year, but they just haven't been the same. And you want to talk about panic time in LA? It's definitely panic time in Atlanta. And I'll tell you this right now, that hot seat is getting really hot now for Dan Quinn.
I agree.
And I'll tell you this, if he can't turn this thing around eventually for the Atlanta Falcons,
he gone.
Exactly, Florio. He'll be gone before you can even say what the hell happened. So unfortunately, the losing streak's going to continue here for Atlanta. I got LA winning this one as well. So yeah, unfortunately for Dan Quinn, that hot seat is about to get really hot. Florio, let's move on to the next game.
Oh, and I'm going to have some fun with this one. It's going to be fun for me, not so much fun for MF. Because it's the Miami Dolphins squaring off against the Buffalo Bills. New Era Field in Buffalo. Game on CBS. Andrew Catalan, James Lofton on the call. And the Buffalo Bills. Wow, I can't even believe this. They're opening up as 17-point favorites. Oh, wow. 17-point favorites. Wow. From what I'm hearing, that's the highest. It's the highest spread that Buffalo has opened with probably since 92, I think I heard. But nonetheless, it's a 17-point spread for the Buffalo Bills. Miami leads the all-time series 60-45 with a tie. Both teams split last year. Both teams won at home, which meant Buffalo pounded the Dolphins last year in Buffalo 42-17. We've won the last 2 years at home against Miami. The Dolphins have not won in Buffalo since 2016, that crazy 34-31 overtime game on that cold, rainy, sloppy day in Buffalo. I'll never forget it. I mean, that was a winter wonderland pretty much in 2016. So, MF. Oh, I don't envy you. You got to start it off, man. 17-point spread. Wow.
Yeah, but the thing is you know what? And I'm going to say it. I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. If this was any other year, I would be really confident about Miami. But I think we all can read the tea leaves here. Miami is on full-scale tank. They let a game get away last week. We should have beaten the Washington Redskins.
Best chance to win.
Yeah, that was our best chance. That was our greatest chance. We had the opportunity. We could have won that game.
Stupid call.
But we kind of made it. That was a way of nonchalantly throwing the game at the end. There's no doubt about it. Any other play, you would be you would be yelling at the TV. And in my situation, I kind of was like, all right, I kind of saw that coming. So I knew that was going to happen. It was a bad outcome, no doubt about it. Horrible loss for the Dolphins, but in the grand scheme of things, if you want the number one overall pick, unfortunately, you need to do these things. So they threw the game, and now they're going up against Buffalo. Buffalo's red hot. Their running game is actually good. I expect Frank Gore to have a huge game. That's why I picked him up off of the fantasy waiver wire because of that. Because Miami can't stop the run. We're 30th against the run. We give up the most points in all of the NFL. So, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. 17 points, I think, is very generous. But I could see Buffalo winning this by 3 or 4 scores. If Miami wants to play, if they want to show some heart, they want to make it interesting, then they might give Buffalo a little bit of a game. But the thing is, it's weird because in the first half, we actually do show up. We play pretty good football. It's the second half is when everything just falls apart on us. So who knows? We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But I got no hopes for Miami. Not with this team. Not this year. I could see this easily being a Buffalo victory. So no, I'm not gonna stand here as a lone Miami Dolphin fan and say, "Oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that." No, because with everything going on, with everything that's happening, I don't think Miami really cares about this game. Sorry, they don't. They're thinking about next year. They're thinking about 2 years from now. They're thinking about the future. They're not thinking about right now. This year, they're on full-scale tank. And that's all I can say about that. So, yeah, Florio, yuck it up right now. Enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy this victory you're going to get. This is going to be the most easiest victory you're going to get out of the Miami Dolphins. Because trust me, pal, you ain't going to get this next year or the year after. Next year is going to be a fight. Because I know Miami's going to come back. It's just enjoy this year. Because next year it might be a different ball game. You never know what Miami's going to do during the off year. So, Buffalo wins. Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with Fletch. I mean, that 17-point spread, that may be a little generous. I mean, they could even be like a 3 or even a 4-score favorite with the way Miami's playing. And yeah, and the thing is, like you said, Miami had a really good chance to win last week, and they just freaking threw it away. And yeah, and good luck the rest of the way. And yeah, this year's definitely a lost year for the Miami Dolphins. Buffalo's going to have a field day with them. And yeah, it's the not just with that defense, but also with the running game. The only real concern when it comes to Buffalo is Josh Allen, because that's the thing that I mean, you don't know what kind of Josh Allen you're going to get, whether it's a good one or a bad one. That's the only concern I have. Other than that, everything else is going good for them. And Deion Sanders on Game Day Prime, he made a bold statement. Remember how they asked which team in the AFC could contend with the New England Patriots? And Florio, you were going to love Deion Sanders' answer.
Buffalo.
The Buffalo Bills. Yeah, wow. He actually said that. Now, I mean,
hey, we almost got you guys a couple weeks ago. Don't forget that. We almost got you.
I mean, I agree with that, but here's the thing. I mean, we've seen this thing with Buffalo before. I mean, they always get off to such good starts, then for some reason they
fall apart. I know.
They fall apart at the end. So I'm not quite ready to go there yet.
Of course.
But if Buffalo continues playing like this, then we may have to revisit that conversation somewhere down the line. So I'm not ready to go there yet, but if they continue playing well, maybe we do need to revisit this conversation. Yeah, exactly, Florida. Exactly. So I got Buffalo winning, but as far as them contending with the Patriots for the AFC, I'm just not quite ready to go there yet. I need to see more from this Buffalo Bills team before we can really take them seriously. I mean, nothing against you, Florio. I'm just being honest here.
And
it's yours.
Okay. The Bills have yet to employ an offense that includes both Devin Singletary and Duke Williams, each of whom offers a dynamic element. Look for offensive coordinator Brian Daboll to get creative with his new look offense against the Dolphins' barely there defense. To that point, the Bills rushed for 250-plus yards. The Dolphins have the NFL's second worst run defense, allowing 170 yards a game. The game plan should be easy for Buffalo. Attack Miami where it hurts. After last week's win against the Redskins, MF, I think you're going to like this. FPI has given the Miami Dolphins an 88.5% chance to get the number 1 pick in next year's NFL draft. The next highest chance, the Cincinnati Bengals at only 7%. Wow. Buffalo's Josh Allen threw 5 touchdown passes last season against the Dolphins, 59 attempts, and 5 against the rest of the NFL in 261 attempts. And now, listen to this betting nugget. MF, I know you're going to go from encouraged to discouraged very quickly. Miami is the second team since the 1970 merger to be an underdog of at least 14 points in 4 of its first 6 games of a season. That other team was the 1977 Seattle Seahawks. But then again, they were just coming into the league at that point. Buffalo, overwhelming FPI favorite. I think they're the highest favorite of the week. 94.3%. It's all Buffalo all the time. 35-7. This is my lock of the week right here. And also in my Yahoo Survival Football, guess who I picked? Of course, my team, the Buffalo Bills. So no doubt about this one. It's going to be an easy win for the Buffalo Bills. No question about that. Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to enjoy this, big boy. No doubt about it. Next matchup. Jacksonville Jaguars squaring off against the Cincinnati Bengals at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, Jay Feely on the call for CBS. And Jacksonville opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. Jacksonville leads the all-time series 12-9. Their last meeting was 2 years ago in Jacksonville. Jacksonville won 23-7, snapping a 4-game losing streak to the Bengals. They last met in Cincinnati in 2014. Cincinnati won 33-23. Jacksonville has not won in Cincinnati since 2002. That was a 29-15 final. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, come on in. We talk about the Miami Dolphins. You know, we talk about their struggles, but the Cincinnati Bengals, well, they're back to being the Bungles once again, I'm afraid.
Oh yeah, they're back to being the Bungles. I mean, it's been another tough year for them. I mean, yeah, I mean, just think, I mean, when they had Marvin Lewis as the coach, I mean, they had so many chances to finally win their first playoff game in a long time, and to be quite honest, I think their best chance was in that 2015 wild card game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then what happened was all those stupid penalties at the end of the game really cost them.
Looking at you, Montez Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying not to mention that name because we already know that with him. Yeah, but yeah, be going with that. You know what? So yeah, and they haven't been the same since that loss in that wild card game to Pittsburgh. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough year. I mean, and of course with the Jaguars, Minshew mania continues, and I expect it to continue on Sunday. So it's all Jacksonville here. So Floria, what's yours?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely Jacksonville. I mean, Gardner Minshew continues to be the talk of the league. I mean, he's won the hearts of everyone. And I know those friends of MF's that have been, you know, crazy for that, and rightfully so. I mean, not just his vintage there, but also, I mean, just the way he has played ever since, you know, taking over for Nick Foles after he got hurt in that in the opener. But the winless Bengals are down to a 4th string left tackle and have the worst rushing defense in the league. Jacksonville, on the other hand, has Leonard Fournette and a pass rush led by rookie Josh Allen, not to be confused with the Buffalo quarterback, who already has 4 sacks this season. Fournette will rush for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Bengals are last in the NFL in rushing yards allowed, 184.5 a game, and yards a carry at 5.3. And the Jaguars are going to try to exploit that weakness, especially with rookie quarterback Gardner Minshew, coming off his worst game of the season. Jacksonville's DJ Shark Jr. has 528 receiving yards, third in the NFL, and has 5 receiving touchdowns. And his 5 receiving touchdowns, rather, are tied for second, both in the NFL this season and in Jaguars team history through their first 6 games. The Bengals' Auden Tate has seen 34 targets over the past 4 weeks, 13th most in the NFL over that stretch. Teams 0-4 or worse, Cincinnati, are 13, 29-1 against the spread as home underdogs since 2009. Jacksonville, an FPI favorite, 57.1%. I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this game. I will say 21-10, Jacksonville over Cincinnati. So nothing more to say. MF, your boy, your friend's boy, Minshew Mania will continue to run wild in Cincy.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Jacksonville is just poised right now. As long as Gardner Minshew just continues to play the way he has been playing lately, they should be fine. Gardner Minshew, 9 touchdowns, 2 INTs, especially in his last performance, wasn't really so good against New Orleans in their last performance. But he should be fine. He should be good to play, and plus, the Bengals defense is horrible to say the very least. But they might be able to make the game interesting. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville to win this. So nothing more to say, Florio. Next game.
And we finally have a good game here. NFC North Division implications in this one. The Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Detroit Lions at Ford Field in Detroit. And on the call for Fox, it'll be Brandon Gaudin, who will be sitting in for Tom Brenneman, as he'll be working with Tom Brenneman's crew of Chris Spielman and Shannon Spake at Ford Field in Detroit for that Viking-Lion game tomorrow. And the Vikings opening up as 2.5-point favorites. Series history, all Minnesota. They lead at 74-39 with 2 ties. Minnesota won both meetings last year, including in Detroit, a 27-9 win at Ford Field. They also won at Ford Field the year before in 2017, 30-23. They've won 2 in a row at Ford Field. The Lions haven't beaten the Vikings at home since 2016. That was a 16-13 final. So definitely some NFC Norris implications in this one. So let's get to what we need to know about this matchup. Okay. The Vikings should focus on the ground game again as Dalvin Cook looks to take advantage of a Lion defense that has given up at least 100 yards rushing every week. Cook could be in line for a monster day, perhaps as big as 150 yards and a touchdown or 2. How Detroit handles Cook could be the key to a win or a loss. Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford will be sacked at least 6 times. Yes, his offensive line is better than last year, and yes, he's been sacked only 10 times in 5 games and is averaging a career-best 8 yards gained per pass attempt. But it's going to be another long day for the 11-year veteran quarterback against the Viking defense, given he has few options for a quick out and not much to work with in the passing game beyond receiver Kenny Golladay. According to NFL Next Gen Stats, Minnesota quarterback Kirk Cousins has averaged 2.98 seconds to throw this season, the most in the NFL. The Lions have allowed 2.99 seconds to throw this season, highest in the NFL, in part because they blitz on a league-low 9% of dropbacks. Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey are the only running backs this season with 5 games of at least 19 fantasy points. Minnesota is 0-6 against the spread with Cousins in games where the line is at or within 3 points. Minnesota, the FPI favorite, at 63.3%. I am going with the Minnesota Vikings to win this game. Final score, 20-17. Nothing more to say. MF, Detroit, last week against Green Bay. They didn't lose that game. The refs lost that game for them.
Yeah, they did. No doubt about it. And Minnesota, they're going to benefit from that. I kind of feel like Minnesota is definitely the better team. Kirk Cousins, man. I know a lot of people's been on Kirk Cousins for a while, but man, what a performance they had last week. And there's really nothing more for me to say. So, yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm going to go with Minnesota to win this. Nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I got to go with Minnesota as well. I mean, like you said, Fletch, I mean, they are the better team. Kirk Cousins had his best performance last week, and I think Dalvin Cook is definitely going to attack that defense of the Lions, like you said, that has given up over 100 yards rushing per game. So I expect a big day for him. So yeah, I got Minnesota winning as well. So there's nothing more to say. Let's just move on to the next game.
Yes, and that next game, according to my notes here, it is when it comes to our side of the ledger, this is one of our games of the week. You can make an argument that it might be the game of the week. You never know. Because we got the Oakland Raiders squaring off against the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. And on the call for this one, hello, friends. Yes, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson. They will be at Lambeau for the Raiders and the Packers. The Packers opening up as 4.5-point favorites. Green Bay leads the all-time series by a count of 7-5 in the regular season. Their last meeting was 2015 in Oakland. The Packers won 30-20. The Green Bay Packers have owned the Raiders over the last almost 30 years. The Packers have won 7 consecutive meetings with the Oakland Raiders or LA Raiders, dating back to the LA days. The Raiders have not beaten the Packers since 1987, the replacement year. And that's also the last time the Raiders won at Lambeau, 20-0. And of course, there is 100th NFL 100 significance in this one. These two teams met all the way back in Super Bowl II. Super Bowl II. These two teams met January of '68 in the old Orange Bowl in Miami, and the Packers won their second consecutive Super Bowl title with an easy win over the Raiders. So nothing more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. We're going to start it off with you here. You can make an argument for this to be the game of the week, although there is another game on our ledger that is just as much a game of the week contender, but Raiders and Packers at Lambeau could have easily have been our game if we were doing our football coverage, because we're in baseball mode now.
Yeah. And on top of that, for the Raiders, a very huge win for them last time out, beating the Chicago Bears in England. A huge victory for them. Basically, a big win for them. And then behind that, it was a heartbreaking, just a narrow escape by the Packers. So the Packers should have lost that game. A lot of people thought they should have. The refs kind of benefited them and helped them win that game. So at the end of the day, we got to see what happens now. But yeah, I'm going to go with Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to win the game. There's really nothing more to say. So, Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Bullock, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to unmute. Yeah. But like I was saying, I mean, Oakland, like you said, a big win in jolly old England against the Chicago Bears, and yeah, now they got to go up against another good team in the NFC North, in the Green Bay Packers, and I mean, like you said, the Packers barely coming away with a victory last week. I mean, some people say they should have lost that game, but hey, somehow they got it done. So yeah, and another thing, since this is the 100th anniversary of the NFL season, not just that Super Bowl II, but you gotta think back to another time when the Green Bay Packers and the Oakland Raiders met.
I know where you're going with this, Bullock. That Monday night game where Brett Favre played after the death of his father.
Yes, that's the one. I mean, who could ever forget that performance by Brett Favre? I mean,
unbelievable.
Just after learning of the passing of his dad, I mean, I mean, one of the best performances I have seen in a long time. I mean, you were wondering going into that game how Brett Favre was going to be after the passing of his dad, but he performed very well, and you could just see the emotion coming out of Brett Favre in that game. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this should be a good one here. But I got a feel. I think the Green Bay Packers to me are the better team here. I got them winning this one. I mean, but they better watch it with the Oakland Raiders, because if Green Bay plays the way they did last week, maybe Oakland can take advantage and upset the Green Bay Packers. But I got Green Bay winning this one. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. Great point there, Bullock. I mean, Super Bowl II, obviously, we know these two teams played in it. We also know that Monday night game in December of 2003, right around Christmas time, near the end of that 2003 season, when Brett Favre had that inspirational performance just after losing his father. I mean, we didn't even know if he was even going to play in that game. We thought he was going to be so emotional. He was going to be such an emotional wreck, but nonetheless, he played and he put on. I would have to consider that game was his greatest performance ever.
And that night, Florio, I mean, I was rooting for Green Bay to win that game, because I really wanted to see Brett Favre dedicate that win in memory of his father.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree with that more. But anyways, which defensive front controls the game may determine who wins. The Packers' pass rush, fueled by Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith, has combined for 13 sacks this season. The Smiths combined for 2.5 sacks in Monday night's win against the Lions alone, and half of their season's sacks have come on third down plays. But the Raiders have allowed just 8 sacks this season, fifth fewest in the league entering this week. Raiders running back Josh Jacobs will set the tone early with a ground and pound attack that would make even Vince Lombardi smile. And he will finish with his second straight 100-plus yard rushing day after going for 126 against the Bears in London 2 weeks ago. The Packers are giving up 124.5 yards a game on the ground, and the Raiders, sans a true number one receiver, are transitioning into a smash mouth type offense. Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers has 23 wins against AFC opponents since the 2010 season, the most by any NFC quarterback. The Packers are also 15-4 at home against AFC teams since 2010 and have won 3 in a row. Raiders tight end Darren Waller has yet to score on his 42 targets. The other 9 top 10 tight ends this season are scoring once every 20 targets. Since 2014, teams coming off a bye, Oakland, are just 2-7-1 against the spread against teams coming off a Monday game in Green Bay. And since 1990, those teams are just 13-26-2 against the spread. Green Bay is the FPI favorite. I know that doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. They are the FPI favorite at 72.3%. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers to win this game. I will say 27-21. I think it will be closer than people think, and I will go with the Green Bay Packers to pick up the win in this one. Should be a good one. All right, next up, it's the other game that I was considering for the game of the week on our side of the ledger. Major AFC South implications here. I believe sole possession of first goes to the winner of this one, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be the Houston Texans squaring off against the Indianapolis Colts over at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. And this one on CBS, as I mentioned. We got Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins. They will have it. And the spread favors Indy by only a point. It's a 1-point spread for Indy. Indianapolis dominating the all-time series against Houston, 26-8 in favor of the Indianapolis Colts against the Houston Texans all time. Both teams split last season. Both teams winning on the road, which meant Houston won in Indianapolis last season, 37-34 overtime winner. That was a 5-star game there. Indy last beat the Texans at home in 2017. That was a 22-13 final. So, Bullock, we're going to start it with you here. Big game for the Texans and the Colts. First place in the AFC South to the winner. Sole possession, that is, right now. So Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts. Texans, Colts. Who's going to walk out with first in the AFC South at the end of this one?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this is a big one right here with sole possession of first place in the AFC South. I mean, Indy, coming off of some big wins lately. Of course, the one that really stands out going into Kansas City to beat the Chiefs. But they're going to be going up against a Texans team who is good, not just offensively, but also defensively too. So, yeah, I mean, Jacoby Brissett is really going to get tested when against that defense, especially led by J.J. Watt. So, oh man, this is a tough one, but I got to go with the Texans here. I think the Texans are the better team. I think Deshaun Watson will make some big plays, and of course that Indy defense has got to deal with that combination of DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller, and J.J. Watt's going to want to get pressure on Jacoby Brissett. So I got to go with the Texans to win this one, but you never know. But here's the thing. I mean, we all thought Kansas City was going to have no problems with the Colts, but the Colts went in there and beat Kansas City. So who knows? Could it happen here? It's possible, but I got to go with the Texans. They're the much better team here. So nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
Yes, indeed. Big game here in the South. Winner gets sole possession of first in the division. It's a half game difference between the Texans and the Colts. So here we go. Can the Texans hold off the Colts pass rush? The Colts have sacked Houston quarterback Deshaun Watson 15 times in 3 meetings, including the playoffs last season. They also sacked Patrick Mahomes, who has somewhat of a similar playing style to Watson, 4 times in a Week 5 meeting with Kansas City. Watson has been sacked 18 times in 6 games this season. On that note, Watson is sacked 5 or more times in this game. He was not sacked in either of his past 2 games, but the Colts have had success with their pass rush against him in the past. Houston's offensive line had improved, but now it has a new right tackle after Titus Howard partially tore the MCL in his left knee last week against the Chiefs. Houston running back Carlos Hyde put up 116 rushing yards in last week's win over the Chiefs, but has never had consecutive 100-yard rushing games in his NFL career. And despite only running the ball by design 38% of the time, 15th highest in the NFL this season, the Texans have the NFL's 5th best rushing offense, averaging 139.8 yards a game. Indianapolis wide receiver T.Y. Hilton has been a top 4 receiver in his previous 2 games at Houston, but outside the top 25 at the position in his past 2 home games against the Texans. Deshaun Watson is 10-2 against the spread in his career as an underdog, 6-6 outright. Houston, a 53.4% FPI favorite. I agree with Michael Bullock on this one. I am going to go with the Houston Texans to win this game. My final score, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game here. I'm going to go 30-27, Houston over Indianapolis, and Houston will keep their will tighten their grip on the AFC South. It's only a half game difference right now. If they lose, Indy gets it. So nothing more to say. MF, Oakland, Green Bay, or Houston and Indy? Which one screams game of the week to you?
Houston and Indy screams game of the week. And gentlemen, I disagree with both you guys. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts. I think they're going to use the same game plan that they used for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think what they're going to do is limit Deshaun Watson and that offense on the field. You're going to see a lot of Marlon Mack. I think you're going to see Jacoby Brissett dump the ball off to T.Y. Hilton. Hilton is healthy. He's going to have a big game. And plus, on top of that, I think that defense can get to Deshaun Watson as well. So, I'm sorry, gentlemen. I disagree. I think the final score is going to be 28-24. Indianapolis at home knocks off the Houston Texans and will take sole possession of first place of the AFC South.
All right, fair enough. I would not be surprised if Indy wins that one. I would not at all. So let's move on to our next matchup here. We're gonna renew an old school division rivalry here, an old NFC East division rivalry from way back in the day. The Arizona Cardinals squaring off against the New York Giants, MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And on the call for that one, it'll be Kenny Albert along with Greg Olson and Lindsey Czarniak. They're going to be on the call for that one. The spread favors the Giants. New York Giants are opening up as 3-point favorites in this one. Giants lead the all-time series, including their division rivalry days, 80-44 with 2 ties. However, the Cardinals have won the last 2 meetings against the Giants, including a 23-0 beatdown by the Cardinals in Arizona 2 years ago. Their last meeting in New York was 2014. Arizona also won that, 25-14. Giants have not beaten the Cardinals at home since 2005. That was a 42-19 beatdown. So really nothing more to say here. Let's get into this one. And oh, by the way, I can confirm that we are going to have this game on our local Fox affiliate, Fox Providence. I checked the maps and we're eligible for this one, unfortunately. So, but anyways, this is a tough one. This is a tough one to call, if I'm going to be honest with you, because, you know, these two teams are both so. I mean, but I mean, you know, we're gonna have it here in just a moment. Just give me a second here. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, these things keep overlapping me, and I think I was leaning towards the Giants when I was checking through everything. Okay, it's time for Kyler Murray versus Daniel Jones. It will be just the 8th time in 49 years there has been a matchup of top 10 pick rookie quarterbacks. Murray was number 1 overall this year, and Jones went number 6. So far this season, Murray has averaged 277 passing yards a game, while Jones has averaged 230. Jones has also turned the ball over more frequently. It will be interesting to see how they stack up against each other on the same field against subpar defenses. Kyler Murray will throw for 450 yards. He finished with 340 against the Falcons last Sunday for his 3rd 300-yard game this season. Against the Giants, Murray will be facing a defense that allows 285 passing yards a game, 2nd most in the NFL. That's just asking Murray, who's shown weekly growth and development, to put up huge numbers. The Giants own the NFL's worst turnover total this season at 15, including 5 games with multiple giveaways. They had 19 turnovers all of last season. Murray has more rushing attempts in October with 21 than he did in September with 18, and completed a season-high 73% of his passes last week against the Falcons. New York is 2-8-1 against the spread at home over the last 2 seasons. And I believe the Giants are opening up as FPI favorites at 54.7%. Like I said, this is the toughest game to call out of all of them, out of every game this week. I mean, my gut is telling me the Giants, but my heart is telling me to go with the Cardinals here because of Murray. So I'm going to take a chance here, and I'm going to go with the Giants here. I'm going to say 31-30. The game's in New York. They're 3-point favorites. It's lightly leaning towards them. I like what I've seen from Daniel Jones, but, you know, I'll say it's a reluctant pick. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not over the moon confident like I am with Buffalo, but this is a reluctant pick, if I'm being honest. 31-30, Giants win. Nothing more to say. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. MF, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm not going to call it a reluctant pick. I'm actually going to say the Giants win. I think it's going to be a good game. You're absolutely right. It's going to be a tough, hard-nosed game. But I do believe that that it will be that they should win this game. And I'm gonna say it that I'm not gonna go and say that it's a slam dunk type game, but I could say this is easily going to be like a 20, I think 24-20 type affair. So I got the Giants winning. Yeah, they should win this game going away. So nothing more to say. Anthony, I don't know if Michael Bullock is back yet. I know he said he'll be right back. I don't think he's returned yet. So, Floyd, I'll give it to you and we can get into the next game.
Oh, there he is. Okay, yep, I see it now. All right. Yeah. As soon as Bullock comes back in, we'll catch him up on that one. So I believe we're down to our final early game, if I'm not mistaken, on our schedule here. Yes, this is our final early game here. This one also on Fox, just like that Cardinal Giant game. This one's also on Fox here. We got the San Francisco 49ers, the darlings of the NFL this year, and they are going to be squaring off against the Washington Redskins at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. And everything keeps overlapping on me, so yeah, there's no question about this one. Niners are going to be the big favorites here, obviously, and rightfully so. I mean, with what they've done this year, it has been most impressive, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. This game on Fox, Niners and Redskins, we have Chris Myers, Daryl Moose Johnston, Laura Oakman. 49ers opening up as 10-point favorites in this one, and I can't say I'm surprised about that whatsoever. And the series history favors San Francisco 17-10 with a tie. They last met 2 years ago in Washington. Redskins won 26-24, snapping a 4-game losing streak to the 49ers. Niners haven't won in Washington since 2013. That was an easy 27-6 final. So there's really nothing more to say. We're gonna start it off with MF here. So MF, Redskins finally got off the schneid. They finally got a win, although they benefited from a Dolphin tank job. But San Francisco, wow.
The best defense other than the New England Patriots has been the 49ers. Jimmy G is looking like a 49er quarterback. Now, I'm not calling him a Joe Montana or Steve Young like that. No way. Not at all. But he's got the look. He's got the makeup. He's got the flair for the dramatic. And that's something that you don't necessarily say about a team like that. And he's been killing it lately, doing an incredible job, playing like one of the great 49er quarterbacks of yesteryear. So if you get that, you definitely got a great situation on your hands. And I truly believe that at the end of the day, the 49ers is going to get better. I think they're going to get stronger. And plus, when you got a three-headed monster in the running back position that can run the football at will like this team does, and that's also a reason why they're so good, because of their run attack. I believe they're actually the second highest running attack in all of the NFL. They're ranked second in all of the NFL in average run attempts at almost 180 yards per game. It's a three-headed monster. That's crazy good. So, at the end of the day, 49ers win. I got no doubts in my mind. Mike Bullock is back. Floyo, do you want me to just talk about the game, or are you going to catch him up?
Well, you already had your start here, so I'm gonna give it to Bullock here. So Bullock, come on back in. Let's get your quick thoughts on the Cardinals and the Giants game, as well as the 49ers and the Redskins.
Yeah, I got the Giants winning this one, and then as far as this game is concerned, I got the San Francisco 49ers winning this one. I mean, I'll tell you what, the defense is really looking really good. And Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, he's really made some strides since coming back from that ACL that ended his season last year. And yeah, of course, George Kittle is playing well. So, yeah, I mean, nobody expected this 49ers team to play as well as they've been playing right now. But we need to see a little bit more from this team. I mean, especially against some of the good teams before we can start taking this San Francisco 49ers team seriously. So I got San Fran winning this one. So, Florio, it's yours.
Absolutely. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers, I mean, no team has been a bigger surprise than they have. I mean, they are the biggest surprise. I mean, we weren't sure if this team was ever going to be good again after the last quarterback there. But, but hey, I mean, give it up. Unbelievable. And it's a large part of that because of that defensive coordinator of the 49ers. Did you see him getting souped up last week against the Rams? Did you see how pumped he was? Yeah, that's a sign. But it'll be a lot of rushing plays. The Redskins will try to run the ball against a defense that ranks 11th in yards per carry allowed. And despite the Niners playing only 5 games, just one team has rushed more times than them this season. That's the Baltimore Ravens. And they will face a defense that ranks 28th in total rushing yards allowed and 23rd in yards a carry. Coach Kyle Shanahan's revenge game will be won on the ground. The Redskins are not going to score a touchdown. Washington is 30th in the league in points a game at 15, and San Francisco's defense is second in points allowed a game, 12.8. The Niners' defense is rolling, the Redskins' offense is struggling, and it's going to be hard for Washington to break through. The 49ers have allowed the fewest passing yards a game this season, 150.2, and the lowest opposing total QBR, 15.7. They have allowed just 5 total touchdowns, and opponents are scoring points on just 58% of red zone trips, second in the NFL behind the aforementioned New England Patriots. Oh, and they have yet to allow a running back to rush for 100 yards this season. Matt Breida's catch count has increased with each game this season, a nice trend to have for a running back averaging 5.8 yards a carry this season. Washington has lost 7 straight home games, going 1-6 against the spread in that span, and 0-3 against the spread this season. San Francisco, overwhelming FPI favorites, 78%. It's all Niners, no doubt about this one. 38-6. San Fran all day. So, nothing more to say on this. Let's move on to the late games now. And we're going to start it off with the Los Angeles Chargers squaring off against the Tennessee Titans at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. And this game will be over on CBS with a 4:05 kickoff. And on the call for that one, it'll be Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, and Evan Washburn. And I believe it's Tennessee. Tennessee opening up as a 2-point favorite. The Chargers lead the all-time series 27-14 with a tie. They last met a year ago. They met in London last year. Chargers winning a wild one, 20-19. Chargers have won 2 in a row in this series. The other one was in 2016, a wild game in San Diego, 43-35. The last meeting in Nashville was 2013. Tennessee won 2017. Chargers haven't beaten the Titans in Nashville since 2009, right around Christmas time. I remember that very vividly. 42-17 beat down there. So I believe it's Bullock who starts off on this one. So Bullock, both teams going in the wrong direction here. But one team is going to get a much-needed win here. Who gets it?
Yeah, and like you just said, Florio, this team both teams had high expectations going into the season, but now both the thing is both teams have lost 2 in a row, and for the past 5. I mean, like you said, someone's going to come out of this on the right end of it. I mean, for the Titans, what's going on? I mean, they made a change from Marcus Mariota to Ryan Tannehill, And yeah, I mean, they're trying to get this offense back on track. And of course, the Chargers have had their offensive struggles too. I mean, including in their recent loss. I mean, starting off, I mean, they had a 14-0 deficit before they lost a close one, 24-17. So yeah, so definitely it's. I mean, I just think the Chargers to me are the better team here. I mean, I think Melvin Gordon's gonna really. I think he's gonna have a good game here. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna have a breakout because he's still trying to work his way back after obviously missing more than 2 months because of that contract dispute he had. And Philip Rivers just needs to play better, and the defense I think will definitely play a lot better as well. So I got the LA Chargers. I expect them to bounce back and win this one. I mean, just because obviously because of the whole quarterback fiasco that's going on in Tennessee. So I really got nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, I mean, MF's old friend Ryan Tannehill is going to be making his first start as a Tennessee Titans. So it'll be very interesting to see how he does in said start. So that's definitely going to be the talking point when it comes to this one. And all eyes will be on quarterback Ryan Tannehill as he makes his first start for the Titans. The focus will be on whether Tannehill is decisive with the football and whether it keeps him from getting sacked. He should look to get the ball out quickly to the receivers so they can make plays. Chargers running back Melvin Gordon rushes for more than 100 yards. He has been held to just 49 rushing yards through 2 games since his return from the holdout. But the last time he played against Tennessee, Gordon totaled a career-high 196 rushing yards in 2016. The Titans have gone 18 straight games without 300 passing yards, the second longest active streak in the NFL, only behind my Buffalo Bills at 38. Yikes. Gordon has 10.7 points as a pass catcher compared to just 4 points as a ball, 4.9 points rather as a ball carrier this season, and none of his 20 carries have gained more than 7 yards. Tennessee is 0-3 outright this season as a favorite. All 3 games went under as Tennessee averaged 10.3 points a game. The FPI favorite is actually Tennessee, 60.2%. But I'm going with the Chargers in this one. I agree with Bullock. I'm going to go with the Chargers to win this one. I'm going to say 19-14. It'll be an ugly game, but I will say the Chargers will eke this one out. So nothing more to say. MF, your old friend Ryan Tannehill, his first start as a Tennessee Titan.
Yeah, definitely. And, we'll wait and see if he turns it around. Who knows? But I will say this. I think the Chargers should turn it back around and they'll get the chance to win this game, and I think they will. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers as well, guys. I'm gonna agree with you on this one. Nothing more to say. Next game to go.
Yep, and we have 2 425 games, both on Fox, and both of these games are game of the week caliber. I mean, you can make an argument for either one of these games to be America's game of the week, honestly. But they're saying that this next one is America's game of the week. The New Orleans Saints squaring off against the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field in Chicago. This one on Fox, and Tom Brenneman is beginning his filling in for Joe Buck. He's going to be there. It's going to be Tom Brenneman with Troy Aikman and Aaron Andrews. Tom Brenneman sitting in for Joe Buck because of his baseball playoff commitments. World Series coming up. Chicago opening up as a 4-point favorite. New Orleans leads the all-time series 15-13. The Saints have won the last 4 meetings in a row, including 2 years ago. The Saints winning in the Dome 20-12. Saints won their last meeting in Chicago. That was 2014. Bears haven't beaten the Saints at home since 2008. That was a 27-24 overtime win. So I get to lead off on America's game of the week. And we can get this thing to cooperate here. We can get started on this one. So here we go. What are we watching for in this one? Well, Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky. He's expected to return from a left shoulder injury. But can he breathe life into Chicago's stale offense? The numbers say no. The Bears rank near the bottom of the league in virtually every important offensive statistical category, and that's after Trubisky's backup, Chase Daniel, strung together 2 decent outings before Chicago's bye week. The Saints' defense seems like a bad matchup for Trubisky. Saints right tackle Ryan Ramczyk will allow his first sack of the season to Khalil Mack, who splits time evenly on the left and right sides. Ramczyk, a second-team All-Pro last season, has pitched a shutout so far this year, despite lining up against the likes of J.J. Watt and DeMarcus Lawrence. Michael Thomas leads the NFL with 53 receptions, 8 more than any other player entering this week. He is the only player in NFL history with multiple seasons of 50 catches through 6 games, also 53 through 6 games last year. Allen Robinson II is one of just 4 receivers to have 7 catches and 75 receiving yards in each of his past 2 games heading into this week. Michael Thomas, along with Chris Godwin and Julian Edelman, are the others. And here's an interesting betting nugget. New Orleans is 4-0 this season in Teddy Bridgewater starts. Bridgewater is 27-7 against the spread overall and 15-2 against the spread as an underdog in his career. Both are the best by any quarterback in the Super Bowl era, a minimum of 15 starts. Chicago is the FPI favorite at 55.5%. I disagree with that. I have the New Orleans Saints winning this one. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game than people think, mainly because of Mitchell Trubisky. So I'm going to say the Saints win an ugly low scoring game. I'm going to say 13-10 New Orleans over Chicago. So they keep the roll going. So MF, can Teddy Bridgewater keep the roll going against that vaunted Bears defense led by Khalil Mack?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is going to be a tough game because Chase Daniel's the one who's starting, not Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell's still out with an injury. It's going to be a tough game. This is going to be very interesting to watch, to say the very least. And I'm with you, Anthony. I'm going to go with New Orleans as well. I kind of like their team. I like their makeup. The one thing I would be concerned about is Alvin Kamara is not playing. He's out, injured. So that's a major loss for New Orleans. So that means Teddy Bridgewater is going to be relied on even more on Sunday, tomorrow, if this does happen. But I'm going to go with you, Florio. I'm going to go with New Orleans to pull the upset, to knock them off in Chicago. And Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Bullock, are you there?
Dang, I forgot to unmute my mic again. I mean, this is 2 times I've done this now. Whew. Yeah, but anyways, I mean, I do think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I mean, yeah, I mean, the Saints not having Alvin Kamara is going to hurt them, but I like what I've seen from Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, since filling in for an injured Drew Brees, and he's going to rely on getting the ball to Michael Thomas. And yeah, that Bears defense is going to make it tough on Teddy Bridgewater, but he'll just make enough plays. And I think this Bears defense will definitely keep the Bears in this game. But in the end, I do have the Saints winning this one in a low-scoring game. So there's really nothing more to say. So let's just move on to our next game, Florio.
And it's the other America's Game of the Week. Like I said, you can make an argument for this one as well. This game really should have been on CBS, and if it had been, it would have been our Game of the Week hands down. But Fox stole another one from us. Ugh. They've been known to do that this year. The Baltimore Ravens squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks at CenturyLink Field in Seattle. Fox has this one. The legendary Dick Stockton, along with Rondé Barber, Mark Schlereth, and Jennifer Hale, they will have the call for that one. And Seattle opening up as a 3-point favorite. The series history favors Seattle as well, 3-2. Interesting note, the Ravens won the first 2 meetings between these two teams, but since then, the Seahawks have won the last 3 meetings. They last met in 2015 in Baltimore. It was all Seattle, 35-6 beatdown. They last met in Seattle in 2011. Seattle won 22-17. Baltimore has never won in Seattle. They're 0-2 in Seattle, both at CenturyLink Field in 2007 and 2011. So there's really nothing more to say. MF is going to start off on this one. Baltimore and Seattle. I don't know how Fox got this game, but they did. If it was on our side, this would have been our game hands down.
This would have been the game of the week, no doubt about it. I think what happened was it was a flex. I think the flex scheduling came into play and they threw this over to Fox.
Yeah, the cross flex scheduling.
The cross flex. I think that's what happened, Anthony. I think that's why this game turned out the way it was going to turn out. At the end of the day, yeah, you're right. This would have been our game of the week. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. I like them at home at CenturyLink Field. Normally when they're at home with the 12th man, it doesn't matter who you are. You're in for a long afternoon. Defensively, they do good. The running attack is good. And I actually trust Russell Wilson a little more than Lamar Jackson. Even though Lamar Jackson's been really well this year, Russell Wilson is just far and ahead, better than anything I've seen in the world. So I got nothing more to say. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Seattle. This is going to be a close game, 27-24. Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I expect this to be a really good one here. I mean, you got two mobile quarterbacks in Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson. I mean, Lamar Jackson has played really well. I mean, especially with not just throwing, but also running the football too. So that's going to be a huge task for this Seattle defense to see if they are able to contain Lamar Jackson. But, you know, Russell Wilson's going to do the same thing, and Baltimore's really going to have to try to contain him as well. But then you got Carson in the running game here that will really make it tough for them. So, but I think because it's in Seattle, I gotta go with the Seahawks to win this one. So, yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Game 6 of the ALCS is about to go to the top of the 9th inning. The Houston Astros with a 4-2 lead. This might be the moment we've been waiting for. We could have a pennant-winning moment right here on this show, much to my chagrin, but, you know, it is what it is. So,
we'll let you know when it gets close to that time.
Yeah, and give MF another moment for his legendary legacy. But nonetheless,
even though you're probably going to have to like endure it because it could be your team getting eliminated,
unless a miracle happens. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But I highly doubt it. But anyways, let me give you my thoughts on the Ravens and the Seahawks here. I mean, I hate this cross-flex scheduling. I really, really do. That's all I can say on this. This should have been on our side. But anyways, can Russell Wilson continue his scorching start against Earl Thomas III, Marcus Peters, and the Ravens secondary? And what kind of reaction will Thomas get at CenturyLink Field, given how much he meant to the Seahawks during his 9 seasons in Seattle, but also how poorly that relationship ended last season? It's shaping up as an exciting showdown in Seattle. Russell Wilson throws for more than 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, taking advantage of Baltimore's aggressiveness. The Ravens blitz at the highest rate in the NFL, 45%, but Wilson completes the league best 73% of his passes against the blitz. Wilson has posted 14 passing touchdowns, a 73% completion percentage, 9 yards per attempt, and an 80 total QBR, all best for his career through 6 games. Helping into those numbers, Seahawks receivers have been wide open, 5 yards of separation at arrival of the throw on 31% of their targets this season, the highest mark in the NFL per NFL Next Gen Stats. Baltimore's Lamar Jackson would have been RB9 last week if he was the running back and only his rushing stats counted, 152 yards and a touchdown. Baltimore is 0-4-1 against the spread in 5 games this season since beating Miami 59-10 in week 1. Seattle, 64.4% FPI favorite. It's going to be a close game, but I say the Seattle Seahawks will win this one. My final score, I'm going to go 31-26, Seattle over Baltimore. Should be a fun game. Wish we were getting it, but we're not. So all I can say on that, let's move on. 2 games left. Sunday Night Football on NBC. NFC East implications in this one. Sole possession of first in the division to the winner. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Jerry World. Over on NBC, you know who works this one. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. They will have it. And man alive, I mean, major implications here. Dallas is opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. No big surprise on that. And it's been one of the all-time great rivalries over the years. A lot of fun games, and series history, it favors I believe it's Dallas. Yeah, Dallas leads the all-time series 65-51. Dallas won both meetings last year, including in Dallas, a 29-23 overtime win. Dallas has won the last 3 meetings in this series. Dallas winning at home last year, but Philly went into Dallas and beat down the Cowboys 37-9 2 years ago. So there's really nothing more to say on this. I believe it's Bullock who starts it off. So Michael Bullock, Philly, and Dallas, sole possession of first in the NFC East to the winner.
Yes, like you said, this is one of the great rivalries in the NFC East. I mean, but yeah, I mean, they've been struggling as of late. I mean, they lose to the New York Jets in New York. I mean, that's got a lot of people riled up, including our own Derek Ferreira, who you saw on the post basically say, you know what, just go 3-13 and fire Jason Garrett and bring in Lincoln Riley. So, yep, that's Derek Ferreira going into his usual mode with the Dallas Cowboys. So, but yeah, I mean, they just really need to get back on track here. And yeah, I mean, man, this is a tough one for me to call, but I'm sorry, but I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles right now. I mean, until I see something from Dallas that really makes me think that they're going to turn this thing around, I just don't see it happening. And I think Philadelphia is going to end up getting sole possession of first place in the NFC East. So, yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more for me to say. I got Philly winning this one. Flory, what's yours?
I certainly don't blame you for that one, Bullock. I mean, Dallas has struggled mightily, since they got off to their hot start. But, they've gone downhill, and it went really downhill last week when they lost to the winless Jets in the Meadowlands. We saw it. We saw how that game ended when you, me, and Brian Keenan had our boys' night out last week at B-Dubs. But anyways, and yes, and we saw Derek's post, and Derek pretty much was channeling his inner EDP 445 on that one, much to our chagrin. But it is what it is. So, but anyways, let's get into my thoughts on this one. The information that I have regarding this matchup. Can the Cowboys get off to a fast start? In their 3-game losing streak, they have been outscored 47-9 in the first half. In their past 2 games, they have trailed by 28 and 18 points. To make a comeback under those circumstances, things have to go perfectly. They haven't. Dallas's Dak Prescott will be forced into a pair of turnovers that will prove to be the difference in the game, as the combination of an ailing Cowboys offensive line and the return of corner Jalen Mills sparks the Eagles' defense. The Cowboys used play action on 34% of their pass attempts over the first 3 weeks of the season, but that has fallen to 17% over the past 3 weeks. And when running play action, Prescott has seen his yards per attempt fall from 12.1 to 7.6. His completion percentage drop from 81% to 70%, and a 4-to-1 TDINT ratio plummet to 0-2. Philadelphia's Zach Ertz is one of 3 players in the NFL with at least 50 receiving yards in each of the first 6 weeks of the season. That said, he is not one of the 96 players with a 75-plus yard receiving game this season. Dallas has lost 3 straight games, all as a favorite for the first time since 1979. It has not lost 4 straight games, all as a favorite since 1974. FPI favorite? That would be the Dallas Cowboys, 62.8%. But like Bullock said, until I see different from Dallas, even though they're going to have Amari Cooper back, thank God for me, because he's on my fantasy team, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this one. 27-20. Philly beats Dallas and takes over first in the NFC East. Nothing more to say. MF, high stakes.
It is. I agree, but I agree. I'm going to go with Philadelphia as well. Dallas has been struggling. They can't run the football now. Dak has been throwing a lot of interceptions. And with Philadelphia's defense, who's very opportunistic, I'm sorry, guys. I'm with you guys on this one. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to knock off the Cowboys on Sunday night. My final score is 28-21. So, Anthony, final game of the week.
And it's Monday Night Football on ESPN. The New England Patriots squaring off against the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, in the Meadowlands on Monday Night Football. Joe Tessitore, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters. They will have the call of this one. And New England opening up as a big favorite, as a sizable favorite. No big surprise here. New England opening up as a 9.5-point favorite. New England leads the all-time series 63-53 with a tie. New England has won each of the last 6 meetings against the Jets. And I think they played the Jets earlier this year, so it's 64-53 with a tie. And they have now won 7 in a row against the Jets. Jets haven't beaten the Patriots since 2015, and that was at home, and that was that 26-20 overtime win. But it's been all New England. They won in New York last year, 27-13. I think it was a 30-14 game earlier this year in Foxborough that went the way of New England. So there's really nothing more to say on this. So let's get into this. I mean, it's got to be New England here. I mean, try to get this thing up here. The Jets' blitz schemes will cause problems for Patriots quarterback Tom Brady, who has struggled the past 3 weeks when throwing under pressure. That'll be enough to keep the game close, but the Jets will have major issues with New England's man-to-man coverage schemes and won't be able to keep up offensively. Sam Darnold will learn a hard lesson about quarterbacking against the Bill Belichick coach defense. Undrafted free agent wide receiver Jacoby Myers will record his first career touchdown pass. The Patriots project to lean more on Myers with Josh Gordon out and Philip Dorsett hoping to return after missing the Week 6 Thursday win over the Giants. Testing the Jets' depth at cornerback figures to be part of the Patriots' plan. In his past 3 games, Brady has been pressured 24% of the time, which is up from 15% in his first 3 games. When pressured this season, he is completing just 24% of his passes, third worst in the league, averaging only 2.5 yards per attempt, and has 2 interceptions. The Jets blitz on 38% of opponent quarterback dropbacks, which is the 4th highest rate in the league. In Darnold's return to action last week, Robbie Anderson scored 23.5 points, 4.7 points more than he scored during the 3 games he played without Darnold. New York has covered 5 of the past 6 home meetings between these two, though it failed to cover last season with Josh McCown at quarterback. New England, FPI favorite, 85.2%. I'm going with New England to barely win this one, considering that the Jets got back on track against Dallas. So I'm going to go 23-20. New England escapes by the skin of their teeth and the hair on their chin. So nothing more to say. MF, the Jets, big win against Dallas. Darnold's back, and it looks like the Jets might be slowly but surely getting back on track.
You would think about that, absolutely, but this is a tough game going up against the Patriots. You know how the Patriots normally play these type of games. This is going to be a tight one, no doubt about it. 27-23. I got the Patriots knocking off the Jets. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be different from the last time when these two met. I expect this to be a close one. I think the Jets will definitely give the Patriots fits, but I think the Patriots defense is definitely much better. Um, like you said, especially with their man-to-man coverage, especially with Stephon Gilmore, and yeah, I got the Patriots winning this one. Yeah, I'll go with that same 23-20 score. So there's really nothing more that needs to be said. And we have breaking news. We have a tie game. We have a tie game. DJ LeMahieu just hit a 2-run home run. So hold off on the celebration. And before you know, and guess who's coming up next, Florio?
All rise.
It's Aaron Judge. So who knows? He could possibly give the Yankees the lead if he has that opportunity. But man, oh man, off the closer Roberto Osuna, and just like that, it's a tie game. So the Yankees are not dead yet.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Hallelujah.
Yeah, and this is and after you said that this team had no chance, especially after the way, especially with Verlander when he went in the last game, and he said, look, I mean, we've seen crazy things happen in the playoffs before, and this right here now is no different.
We just had a vintage Michael Fletcher, can you believe it moment. That is all I am going to say. So,
oh my goodness.
Wow. There's nothing left for me to say, but this man of good faith, there's nothing left for me to say except it's a freaking miracle. That is all I can say. I thought there was no way they were going to.
Well, you may have another one with Aaron Judge if he hits one out of the ballpark.
He just barely snuck it right over the right field wall. This was one of those calls where this was one of those, and I'm going to say, I said high fly ball into right field, Springer go into the wall, leaps, and I emphatically Screaming Michael Fletcher would have said, says, out of the reach of Springer, it's gone. Goodbye, home run, DJ LeMahieu, we are tied. So,
you threw in your can you believe it, right?
If you want me to throw it, I can, but
I would. So,
and I think Gleyber Torres is coming up now.
Gleyber Torres, the 22-year-old phenom. He had the game of his life last week in Game 1. Can he be a hero again?
Well,
I don't know, but all I know is this is a freaking miracle. That's all I'm going to say right now. I mean, I thought there was no way they were going to break through here. No way.
Well, with Osuna, Osuna's been lights out. Osuna's been lights out. So for DJ LeMahieu to get that home run at that moment, either that's the Yankee mystique or somebody just got fly ball left field. Nope, this is playable. Yeah. And that's the third out of the inning. All right.
Yep. So we're going to the bottom of the ninth.
Houston needs one to go to the World Series.
But the Yankees need to shut it down in the bottom of the ninth if they want to force extra innings.
But the momentum is clearly on New York's side now.
And Osuna, I mean, this is not the first time he's imploded in the postseason.
Nope.
You have to think back to last year in the ALCS against the Red Sox. I mean, Game 3.
Yeah, Game 3.
Yeah, Game 3.
I had it. I mean,
and that was when Jackie Bradley Jr. hit that grand slam that pretty much put the game out of reach.
Guys, I can't believe this either because there's also a AAA wrestling event going on right now. Herodes Immortales, which is the Immortal Heroes. And we just had a fight just now between Ray Phoenix and Kenny Omega for the AAA Mega Campeon. I got breaking news, gentlemen. We have a new World Heavyweight Champion in AAA. Kenny Omega, the cleaner, the new Mega Campeón de Físico Completo de AAA. He is the new AAA Heavyweight Champion of the world.
I don't know what else there is to say except I think we need to put a bow on this.
Yeah, we need,
Exactly.
I think we need
Good
to.
night.
Yeah, we're gonna put a bow on this right here and right now. Our
Good
shout
night,
outs
Joe.
our shout outs are the same usual people anyway, so that's all I can say on that.
Yeah,
So,
let's just put an end to this.
yes, let's do it right now. So tomorrow, Monday night, we have Ridiculously Raw right back here on the Tone 25. Monday Night Raw with their first show with their new roster. I can't wait to see how that turns out. The Street Profits are going to against the Street Profits and a mystery partner against the OC. Sin Cara will go up against Andrade, and the Nature Boy Ric Flair will be in the house to announce the rest of his team for the Team Flair Team Hogan match at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. Wednesday night Mayhem with our new host MF. That'll be on his channel, Brace Fan 95, as we run down NXT and AEW Dynamite as always. Thursday, College Football Thursday, 3 huge games: Wisconsin and Ohio State, Auburn against LSU, and Notre Dame against Michigan. And then Friday night, the Friday Night Cerebral Smack Talk, and then next week on NFL Saturday, there's nothing left to say. The records may be out there, but it doesn't erase the fact that the game of the week next week is the Cleveland Browns against the New England Patriots. That's all there is to say on that. So that's it. So until Monday Night for Ridiculously Raw, it is a surprised and bewildered Anthony Florio for good old MF Michael Fletcher and for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Didi Woodson and Derek Ferrero. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it a Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Monday Night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching NFL Saturday, Week 7 edition, right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio. Bye. Saying bye for now and bye, everybody. Bye. I mean, wow. It's a miracle.
Good night.
It's a miracle.
See ya, folks.